1.2 Food and cooking. Food. Fish and seafood. 1,
Crab.
5,
Mussels.
2,
Salmon.
6,
Shrimp.
3,
Squid.
4,
Tuna.
Meat. 10,
Beef.
11,
Chicken.
8,
Duck.
9,
Lamb.
7,
Pork.
Fruit and vegetables. 23,
Beet.
12,
Cabbage.
22,
Cherries.
16,
Cucumber.
18,
Eggplant.
21,
Grapes.
25,
Green beans.
24,
Lemon.
17,
Mango.
13,
Melon.
19,
Peach.
14,
Pear.
26,
Raspberries.
15,
Red pepper.
20,
Zucchini.
1.3 Cooking. 4,
Boiled.
3,
Roasted.
1,
Baked.
6,
Grilled.
2,
Fried.
5,
Steamed.
1.4
Canned.
Fresh.
Frozen.
Low fat.
Raw.
Spicy.
Takeout.
1.5
Fish. Squid. Chicken. Spicy.
Grilled.
Tree. Beef. Steamed. Beans. Breakfast.
Cat. Grapes. Salmon. Lamb. Cabbage.
Car. Margarine. Carton. Jar. Warm.
Clock. Sausage. Roast. Chocolate. Box.
Horse. Or. Pork. Fork. Boiled. Pour.
Bull. Cook. Sugar. Pudding. Food.
Boot. Ooh. Spoon. Zucchini. Fruit. Duck.
1.6 A.
I usually have meat or seafood, usually shrimp or something as an appetizer, and then maybe lamb for the main course.
B.
I often have ready-made vegetable soups that you just have to heat up. In fact, they're the only vegetables I ever eat. And I usually have a couple of frozen pizzas in the freezer for emergencies. I don't really order takeout when I'm on my own, but if I'm with friends in the evening, we sometimes order Chinese food for dinner.
C.
Eggs and soda. I have eggs for breakfast at least twice a week, and I drink a couple of cans of soda every day.
D.
If I'm feeling down, chicken soup with nice big pieces of chicken in it. It's warm and comforting. I usually have a banana before going to the gym. If I know I'm going to have a really long meeting, I usually have a coffee and a cupcake because I think it will keep me awake and give me energy.
E.
Fruit. Cherries, strawberries, raspberries, and apples. Vegetables. Peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers. The only thing I really don't like is zucchini. I can't even stand the smell of it.
1.7. Part 1.
What was your favorite food when you were a child?
Well, I always liked unusual things. At least things that most English children at the time didn't like. For instance, when I was 6 or 7, my favourite things were snails. Oh, and prawns with garlic.
Funny things for a 6-year-old English boy to like.
Well, the thing is, my parents liked travelling and eating out a lot, and I first tried snails in France. And the prawns, my first prawns, I had at a Spanish restaurant in the town where we lived.
So you were interested in Spanish food right from the start. Is that why you decided to come to Spain?
Partly. But of course, I suppose, like a lot of British people, I wanted to see the sun. The other thing that attracted me when I got here were all the fantastic ingredients. I remember going into the market for the first time and saying, wow!
When you opened your restaurant, how did you want it to be different from typical Spanish restaurants?
Well, when I came to Spain, all the good restaurants were very formal, very traditional. In London then, the fashion was for informal places where the waiters wore jeans, but the food was amazing. So I wanted a restaurant a bit like that. I also wanted a restaurant where you could try more international food, but made with some of these fantastic local ingredients. For example, Spain's got wonderful seafood, but usually here it's just grilled or fried. I started doing things in my restaurant, like cooking Valencian mussels in Thai green curry paste.
What do you most enjoy cooking?
What I most enjoy cooking, I think, are those traditional dishes which use quite cheap ingredients, but they need very long and careful cooking, and then you turn it into something really special, like a really good casserole, for example.
And is there anything you don't like cooking?
Maybe desserts. You have to be very, very precise when you're making desserts, and that's not the way I am.
1.8. Part 2.
What's the best thing about running a restaurant?
I think the best thing is making people happy. That's why even after all this time I still enjoy it so much.
And the worst thing?
That's easy. It has to be the long hours. This week, for example, I'm cooking nearly every day. We usually close on Sundays and Mondays, but this Monday is a public holiday where lots of people want to eat out, so we're open.
Sociarea is in all the British restaurant guides now. Does that mean you get a lot of British customers?
Yes, we get a lot of British people, especially at the weekends. But then we get people from other countries too.
And are the British customers and the Spanish customers very different?
Yes, I think they are. The British always say that everything is lovely, even if they've only eaten half of it. The Spanish, on the other hand, are absolutely honest about everything. They tell you what they like, they tell you what they don't like. I remember when I first opened, I had sushi on the menu, which was very unusual at that time. And I went into the dining room and I said to people, "So what do you think of the sushi?" And the customers, who were all Spanish, said, "Oh, it was awful. It was raw fish." Actually, I think I prefer that honesty because it helps us to know what people like.
What kind of customers do you find difficult?
I think customers who want me to cook something in a way that I don't think is very good. Let's see, a person who asks for a really well done steak, for instance. For me, that's a difficult customer. You know, they'll say, "I want a really, really well done steak." So I give them a really, really well done steak. And then they say, "It's tough." And I think, well, of course it's tough. It's well done. Well done steak is always tough.
People say that the Mediterranean diet is very healthy. Do you think people's eating habits in Spain are changing?
Well, I think they are changing. Unfortunately, I think they're getting worse. People are eating more unhealthily.
How do you notice that?
I see it especially with younger friends. They often eat in fast food restaurants. They don't cook. And actually, the younger ones come from a generation where their mothers don't cook either. That's what's happening now, and it's a real pity.
1.9. 1.
This week, for example, I'm cooking nearly every day. We usually close on Sundays and Mondays, but this Monday is a public holiday.
2.
The British always say that everything is lovely.
3.
Actually, I think I prefer that honesty because it helps us to know what people like.
4.
Unfortunately, I think they're getting worse. People are eating more unhealthily.
1.10. 1.
I work in a bank. She studies Russian.
We don't have any pets. Jack doesn't wear glasses.
Where do you live? Does your brother have a car?
2.
She usually has cereal for breakfast.
I'm never late for work.
We only eat out about once a month.
1.11.
Who are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for a friend.
Is your sister still going out with Adam?
No, they broke up. She isn't going out with anyone right now.
1.12.
What are you cooking?
I'm making pasta.
Great. I love pasta.
What are you looking for?
My car keys.
I'll help you in a minute.
But I need them now.
1.13.
I agree. In most top restaurants, the chef is a man. For example, Mario Batali or Marcus Samuelson.
I don't agree. There are many more women chefs than before in restaurants. And at home, women cook much more than men.
That's true, but I still think men are better cooks. They're more adventurous in the kitchen.
In my opinion, that's only because they don't cook every day. It's easy to be adventurous if you only cook once a week.
I'm not sure. I know a lot of men who cook almost every day.
I think it depends.
1.14.
I agree.
I don't agree.
I'm not sure.
I think it depends.
For example,
in my opinion.
1.15.
Family life is changing in the U.S., but not in the way we might think. The results of several different U.S. surveys expected to find that family relationships were suffering because of the decline in traditional family structures. However, some of the results were very surprising. 32% of young adults under 25 and 10% of adults 30 to 34 still live at home with their parents. 43% of families eat together every day. 33% say they have the TV on during dinner. 50% think a new baby in the family brings more happiness. 49% of adults are happy and enjoy their lives without a lot of stress. 11% of adults are not happy and have a lot of stress or worry in their lives. 60% of teens feel close to their family. 67% of teens want to spend more time with their parents. 75% of parents stay connected with their children on social networks. 40% of parents worry about what their kids post on social networks. 17% of elderly women live with a relative such as a daughter, daughter-in-law, or grandchild.
1.16 1.
So, what are you going to do next year, dear? Are you going to go to college? Adam, can you hear me?
Sorry, Grandma. What did you say?
I said, are you going to go to college next year?
No, Grandma. I've already told you 1,000 times. I'm not going to go to college yet. I'm going to look for a job. I need to earn some money.
All right, dear. You don't need to shout. I can hear perfectly well, thank you. What time is it now?
10 to 4. I'll make you a cup of tea.
Yes, please, dear. That'd be very nice.
2.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Hey, what do you mean tomorrow? Aren't you coming back tonight?
No, I told you about it yesterday. I'm going to a party at Katie's. I'm staying overnight there.
Who else is going?
Oh, just the usual crowd. You don't know any of them.
Well, make sure you don't go to bed too late. And don't forget to...
Bye.
Where's your coat? You can't go out like that. It's going to be cold tonight.
Bye.
3.
Can I use your car tonight?
No, you can't.
You said you didn't need it. Why can't I borrow it?
Because you won't be careful. You'll drive too fast.
I won't. I promise. I'll drive really slowly. I'll be really careful.
Well, all right.
Thanks. See you.
One 1.17
My sister's going to adopt a child.
Are you going to buy a new car or a used one?
I'm not going to go to New York City tomorrow. The meeting is canceled.
1.18
The Yankees are going to win. They're playing really well.
Look at those black clouds. I think it's going to rain.
1.19
Lorna and James are getting married in October.
We're meeting at 10 o'clock tomorrow in Jack's office.
Jane's leaving on Friday and coming back next Tuesday.
1.20
I'll have the steak.
I won't tell anybody where you are.
I'll carry that bag for you.
You'll love New York City.
I'll be home all afternoon.
1.21 1.
Are you coming home for dinner tonight?
No, I'm going out with my friends.
2.
What are you going to do in the summer?
We're going to rent a house with my sister and her husband.
3.
Do you think they'll have children soon?
I don't think so. Not for a few years, anyway.
1.23 Personality. What are they like? 1,
Selfish people think about themselves and not about other people.
2,
A competitive person always wants to win.
3,
Spoiled children behave badly because they are given everything they want.
4,
An aggressive person gets angry quickly and likes fighting and arguing.
5,
Charming people have an attractive personality and make people like them.
6,
A sensible person has common sense and is practical.
7,
A sociable person is friendly and enjoys being with other people.
8,
Anxious people are often worried or stressed.
9,
A moody person is happy one minute and sad the next, and is often bad-tempered.
10,
Independent people like doing things on their own, without help.
11,
A bossy person likes giving orders to other people.
12,
An affectionate person shows that he or she loves or likes people very much.
13,
A jealous person thinks that someone loves another person more than him or her, or wants what other people have.
14,
A sensitive person can be easily hurt or offended.
15,
An ambitious person wants to be successful in life.
16,
A reliable person is someone who you can trust or depend on.
17,
A rebellious person doesn't like obeying rules.
18,
A stubborn person never changes his opinion or attitude about something.
1.24 Opposites.
Generous. Cheap.
Insecure. Self-confident.
Lazy. Hardworking.
Quiet. Talkative.
Shy. Outgoing.
Smart. Stupid.
1.25 Negative prefixes.
Unambitious.
Unclean.
Unfriendly.
Dishonest.
Unimaginative.
Unkind.
Disorganized.
Unreliable.
Unselfish.
Unsociable.
Immature.
Impatient.
Irresponsible.
Insensitive.
1.26 1,
Jealous. Anxious. Ambitious. Generous. Rebellious.
2,
Sociable. Reliable.
3,
Responsible. Sensible.
4,
Competitive. Talkative. Aggressive. Sensitive.
5,
Unfriendly. Insecure. Impatient. Immature.
1.27
This morning we're talking about family and family life. And now Danielle Barnes is going to tell us about a book she has just read called Birth Order by Linda Blair. So, what's the book about, Danielle?
Well, it's all about how our position in the family influences the kind of person we are. I mean, whether we're firstborn, a middle child, a youngest child, or an only child, Linda Blair argues that our position in the family is possibly the strongest influence on our character and personality.
So, tell us more about this, Danielle. What about the oldest children in a family, the firstborn?
Well, firstborn children often have to take care of their younger brothers and sisters, so they're usually sensible and responsible as adults. They also tend to be ambitious, and they make good leaders. Many U.S. presidents and British prime ministers, including, for example, Abraham Lincoln, were oldest children. On the negative side, oldest children can be insecure and anxious. This is because when the second child was born, he or she lost some of his or her parents' attention, and maybe he or she felt rejected.
That's very interesting. What about the middle child?
Middle children are usually more relaxed than oldest children. That's probably because the parents are more relaxed themselves by the time the second child arrives. They're usually very sociable, the kind of people who get along with everybody. And they're also usually sensitive to what other people need. Now, this is because they grew up between older and younger brothers and sisters. For the same reason, they're often good at sorting out arguments, and they're always sympathetic to the ones on the losing side, or, in general, to people who are having problems. On the other hand, middle children can sometimes be unambitious, and they can lack direction in life.
And youngest children?
I was very interested in this part of the book because I'm a youngest child myself. It seems that youngest children are often very outgoing and charming. This is the way they try to get the attention of both their parents and their older brothers and sisters. They are often more rebellious, and this is probably because it's easier for the youngest children to break the rules. By this time, their parents are more relaxed about discipline. On the negative side, youngest children can be immature and disorganized, and they often depend too much on other people. This is because they have always been the baby of the family.
Fascinating. And finally, what about only children?
Only children usually do very well at school because they have a lot of contact with adults. They get a lot of love and attention from their parents, so they're typically self-confident. They're also independent because they're used to being by themselves. And because they spend a lot of time with adults, they're usually very organized.
I'm an only child myself, and people always think that I must be spoiled. Is that true, according to Linda Blair?
Well, it's true that only children can sometimes be spoiled by their parents because they're given everything they ask for. Also, on the negative side, only children can be selfish. And they can also be impatient, especially when things go wrong. This is because they're not used to sorting out problems with other brothers and sisters.
1.28
My name's Jenny Zielinski, and New York is my city. I live here, and I work for a magazine, New York 24/7.
My name's Rob Walker. I'm a writer on New York 24/7. You can probably tell from my accent that I'm not actually from New York. I'm British, and I came over to the States a few months ago.
I met Rob in London when I was visiting the UK on a work trip. He was writing for the London edition of 24/7. We got along well right away. I really liked him.
So, why am I in New York? Because of Jenny, of course. When they gave me the opportunity to work here for a month, I took it immediately. It gave us the chance to get to know each other better. When they offered me a permanent job, I couldn't believe it.
I helped Rob find an apartment, and now here we are, together in New York. I'm so happy. I just hope Rob's happy here too.
I really loved living in London. A lot of my friends and family are there, so of course I still miss it. But New York's a fantastic city. I've got a great job, and Jenny's here too.
Things are changing pretty fast in the office. We have a new boss, Don Taylor. And things are changing in my personal life, too. This evening's kind of important. I'm taking Rob to meet my parents for the very first time. I just hope it goes well.
1.29.
I can't believe we got here so late.
I'm sorry, Jenny. I had to finish that article for Dawn.
Don't forget the chocolates.
Okay. Oh, no!
I don't believe it. Don't tell me you forgot them.
I think they're still on my desk.
You're kidding.
You know what my desk's like.
Yeah, it's a complete mess.
Oh.
Why don't you ever tidy it?
We could go and buy some more.
How can we get some more? We're already late. Hi there!
You made it!
Sorry we're late. So this is my mom and dad, Harry and Sally. And this, of course, is Rob.
Hello.
It's so nice to meet you at last.
Yes, Jenny's finally decided to introduce you to us. Good to meet you.
Come in, come in.
Mom, I'm really sorry. We bought you some chocolates, but we left them at the office.
Oh, what a pity. Never mind.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We know what a busy young woman you are. And your mom has made way too much food for this evening anyway.
Oh, Harry.
But I also have some good news.
Really? What's that?
Well, you know we have a new boss.
Mm-hmm.
He's still new to the job and needs support. So today, he made me the managing editor of the magazine.
So you've got a promotion. How fantastic!
That's great news. Hey, does that mean Jenny's going to be your boss, Rob?
Yes, I guess so.
Well, not exactly. I'm a manager, but I'm not Rob's manager.
Let's go and have dinner.
What a great idea.
1.30. 1.
Don't forget the chocolates.
Okay. Oh, no!
I don't believe it. Don't tell me you forgot them.
I think they're still on my desk.
You're kidding.
2.
Mom, I'm really sorry. We bought you some chocolates, but we left them at the office.
Oh, what a pity. Never mind.
3.
But I also have some good news.
Really? What's that?
4.
So you've got a promotion. How fantastic!
That's great news.
5.
Let's go and have dinner.
What a great idea.
1.31.
You're kidding. I don't believe it.
Really? How fantastic!
That's great news.
What a great idea.
Oh, no!
What a pity. Never mind.
$1.32.
You know, our Jenny has done incredibly well, Rob. She's the first member of our family to study at Harvard. She's a very capable and ambitious young woman.
Dad.
No, it's true, Jenny.
But what about you, Rob? How do you see your career? Do you see yourself going into management?
Me? No, not really. I'm more of a writer.
Really? What kind of things do you write?
Interviews, reviews, things like that. And I'm doing a lot of work for the online magazine.
Rob's a very talented writer, Dad. He's very creative.
That's great, but being creative doesn't always pay the bills.
You know, my dad's a very keen photographer. He took all of these photos.
Oh, Rob won't be interested in those.
But I am interested. I mean, I like photography. And I think I recognize some of these people.
That's because most of them are of Jenny.
But there are some great jazz musicians, too. That's Miles Davis. And isn't that John Coltrane? And that's Wynton Marsalis.
You know about Wynton Marsalis?
Know about him? I've interviewed him.
How incredible! I love that guy. He's a hero of mine.
Well, he's a really nice guy. I spent a whole day with him, chatting and watching him rehearse.
Really? I want to hear all about it.
Have a cookie, Rob.
Go ahead, son. Sally makes the best cookies in New York.
Oh. 1.33.
How do you see your career?
Not really. I'm more of a writer. Interviews, reviews, things like that. I mean, I like photography.
That's because most of them are of Jenny. How incredible!
Well, he's a really nice guy.
Go ahead, son.
$1.35. Money. Verbs. 1.
My uncle died and left me $2,000. I'm going to inherit $2,000.
2.
I put some money aside every week for my next vacation. I save money every week.
3.
My brother promised to give me $50. He promised to lend me $50.
4.
I need to ask my mom to give me $20. I need to borrow $20 from my mom.
5.
I often spend money on stupid things. I often waste money.
6.
I don't have enough money to buy that car. I can't afford to buy that car.
7.
I usually have to pay the mechanic $400 to fix my car. The mechanic charges me $400.
8.
These shoes are very expensive. They are $200. They cost $200.
9.
Jim gave me $100. I haven't paid him back yet. I owe Jim $100.
10.
I want to put money in a bank account. They'll give me 5% interest. I want to invest some money.
11.
I work in a supermarket. They pay me $1,600 a month. I earn $1,600 a month.
12.
I could sell my house for about $200,000. My house is worth about $200,000.
13.
We need to get people to give money to build a new hospital. We want to raise money for the new hospital.
1.36 Prepositions 1.
Would you like to pay in cash or by credit card?
2.
I paid for the dinner last night. It was my birthday.
3.
I spent $50 on books yesterday.
4.
My uncle invested all his money in real estate.
5.
I don't like lending money to friends.
6.
I borrowed a lot of money from the bank.
7.
They charged me $120 for a haircut.
8.
I never get into debt. I hate owing people money.
1.37 Nouns 1.
Coin.
2.
Bill.
3.
Salary.
4.
Tax.
5.
Loan.
6.
Mortgage.
7.
ATM.
1.38
Up. Done. Money. Nothing. Some. One.
Clock. Ah. Dollar. Honest. Shopping.
Phone. Oh. Close. Loan. Go. Oh. Sold.
1.39
Afford. Order. Worth. Organized. Mortgage. Store. Work.
1.40 1.
I'm a spender, I think. I try to save, but something always seems to come along that I need to buy, and I end up broke. I can get by with very little money for myself when I need to, but I don't seem to be good at holding on to it. Also, if my kids ask to borrow some money, I always say yes.
2.
I would say that I'm a spender. I spend money on things like concerts or on trips because I like having the experience and the memories. I know that I should spend my money on things that last or save for the future, but I don't want to miss all those good things that are happening right now.
3.
I consider myself a spender. I don't have much money, but when I do have some, there's always something I need or want to spend it on. I love computers and computer games, so I buy things to make sure my computer is always up to date. I know it's not very sensible, but it's important to me.
4.
That's hard to say. I can save money if there's something I really, really want, but usually my money disappears as soon as I get it. I get some money from my parents every week, so I have just enough money to go to the movies with my friends and to buy something for myself, maybe a book or a DVD or some makeup. I usually end up buying something, but, for example, if I want to go on a trip with my friends, then I can make an effort and save some money for a few weeks.
5.
Since I was little, I've always saved about a third of the money I get. I would never think of spending all the money I have. You could say that I'm careful about money. When I want to buy something that's expensive, I don't use a credit card. I take the money out of the bank, so I never have to worry about getting into debt.
6.
I'd say a saver, definitely. I like having some money saved in case I have an emergency. I also think very carefully before I buy something, and I always make sure it's the best I can buy for that price. But I wouldn't describe myself as cheap. I love buying presents for people, and when I do spend my money, I like to buy nice things, even if they're more expensive.
1.41.
I haven't seen those shoes before. Are they new?
Yes, I just bought them. Do you like them?
They're okay. How much did they cost?
Oh, not much. They were a bargain, under $100.
You mean $99.99. That isn't cheap for a pair of shoes. Anyway, we can't afford to buy new clothes right now.
Why not?
Have you seen this?
No. What is it?
The phone bill. It came this morning. And we haven't paid the electricity bill yet.
Well, what about the iPad you bought last week?
What about it?
You didn't need a new one. The old one worked just fine.
But I needed the new model.
Well, I needed some new shoes.
1.42. 1.
I've been to Miami, but I haven't been to Tampa.
Have you ever lost your credit card?
Sally has never met Bill's ex-wife.
2.
I've already seen this movie twice. Can't we watch another one?
My brother hasn't found a job yet. He's still looking.
Have you finished your homework yet? No, not yet.
1.43.
They got married last year.
What time did you wake up this morning?
I didn't have time to do my homework.
1.44.
I've been to Miami twice. I went there in 1998 and 2002.
1.45. Part 1.
Jane, you're an elementary school teacher and a writer. What kind of books do you write?
Well, I write books for children who are learning English as a foreign language.
How long have you been a writer?
Let me see. Since 1990. So for about 22 years.
Tell us about the trip that changed your life. Where were you going?
Well, it was in the summer of 2008, and my family, my husband and I and our 3 children, decided to have a holiday of a lifetime and to go to Africa. We went to Uganda and Rwanda to see the mountain gorillas. It was something we'd always wanted to do. Anyway, about halfway through the trip, we were in Uganda and we were travelling in a lorry when the lorry broke down. So the driver had to find a mechanic to come and help fix it.
And then what happened?
Well, as soon as we stopped, lots of children appeared and surrounded us. I could see some long buildings quite near, so I asked the children what they were, and they said in English, "That's our school." And I was very curious to see what a Ugandan school was like, so I asked them to show it to me.
What was it like?
I was shocked when I first saw it. The walls were falling down, the blackboards were broken, and there weren't many desks. But the children were so friendly, and I asked them if they would like to learn a song in English. They said yes, and I started teaching them some songs, like Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, a song I've used all over the world to teach children parts of the body. Almost immediately, the classroom filled up with children of all ages, and they all wanted to learn. I was just amazed by how quickly they learned the song.
Did you meet the teachers?
Yes, we did, and the headmaster too. He explained that the school was called St. Joseph's, and it was a community school for orphans, very poor children and refugees. I asked him what the school needed. I thought that he might say, "We need books or paper," and then later we could send them to him. But actually, he said, "What we need is a new school." And I thought, yes, of course, he's right. These children deserve to have better conditions than this to learn in. So when I got back home, my husband and I, and other people who were with us on the trip, decided to set up an organisation to get money to build a new school.
1.46 Part 2
So Adelante Africa was born. Why did you decide to call it that?
Well, we wanted a name that gave the idea of Africa moving forward. And my husband is Spanish, and he suggested Adelante Africa because in Spanish, adelante means go forward. And Adelante Africa sort of sounded better than go forward Africa.
How long did it take to raise the money for the new school?
Amazingly enough, not long really, only about 2 years. The school opened on the 14th of March 2010 with 75 children. Today it has nearly 500 children.
That's great. I understand that since the new school opened, you've been working on other projects for these children.
Yes. When we opened the school, we realized that although the children now had a beautiful new school, they couldn't really make much progress because they were suffering from malnutrition, malaria, things like that. So we've been working to improve their diet and health. And at the moment, we're building a house where children who don't have families can live.
And are your children involved in Adelante Africa too?
Yes, absolutely. They all go out to Uganda at least once a year. My daughter Tessie runs the Facebook page, and my other daughter Anna runs a project to help children to go to secondary school. And Georgie, my son, organises a football tournament there every year.
And how do you think you have most changed the children's lives?
I think the school has changed the children's lives because it has given them hope. People from outside came and listened to them and cared about them. But it's not only the children whose lives have changed. Adelante Africa has also changed me and my family. We have been very lucky in life. I feel that life has given me a lot. Now I want to give something back. But it's not all giving. I feel that I get more from them than I give. I love being there. I love their smiles and how they have such a strong sense of community. And I love feeling that my family and the other members of Adelante Africa are accepted as part of that community.
And do you have a website?
Yes, we do. It's www.adelanteafrica.com. We've had the website for about 4 years. It was one of the first things we set up. If you'd like to find out more about Adelante Africa, please go there and have a look. There are lots of photos and even a video my son took of me teaching the children to sing on that very first day. Maybe it will change your life too. Who knows?
1.47
They've known each other for 10 years.
Julia has had that bag since she was in college.
How long have you worked here?
Since 1996.
How long has your brother had his motorcycle?
For about a year.
1.48 1.
How long have you been learning English?
Nick has been working here since April.
They've been going out together for about 3 years.
2.
Your eyes are red. Have you been crying?
No, I've been cutting onions.
1.49 1.
How long have you been learning French?
2.
I've been learning French for 3 years.
3.
How long has it been raining?
4.
It's been raining since lunchtime.
5.
How long have you been waiting?
6.
I've been waiting for half an hour.
1.50. 1.
It's snowing. How long has it been snowing?
2.
I'm learning Korean. How long have you been learning Korean?
3.
Natalia has been working in Brazil. How long has Natalia been working in Brazil?
4.
John is looking for a job. How long has John been looking for a job?
5.
They're living with Mary's parents. How long have they been living with Mary's parents?
6.
I'm going to salsa classes. How long have you been going to salsa classes?
7.
It's raining. How long has it been raining?
8.
Justin is going out with Brittany. How long has Justin been going out with Brittany?
1.51. Phone call 1.
Everything went wrong. I only managed half a day on Wednesday, the first day, and on Thursday we started late, so I'm already behind. I've been suffering from the heat. It's absolutely boiling, and the humidity is 100% at lunchtime. I went the wrong way, and I had to paddle against the current. I was exhausted. They asked me, "Do you want to give up?" But I said no, because I've also been having a wonderful time. There are pink dolphins, pink, not grey, that come close to the boat. I think that if I can do 62 miles a day, then I can make it.
Phone call 2.
I've been on the Amazon for a week now, and I've been paddling for 6 out of the 7 days. The river is incredibly wide, and it's very hard to paddle in a straight line. The water is so brown that I can't see my paddle once it goes under the surface. It looks like melted chocolate. I start at 5:30 in the morning, and I paddle for at least 10 hours, from 5:30 a.m. until dark, with only a short break for lunch. My hands have been giving me problems. I have big blisters. I now have them bandaged in white tape. I'm usually on the water for at least 10 hours. It's boring at times and exciting at others. I listen to music on my iPod. I've been listening to "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen to inspire me.
Phone call 3.
I haven't been feeling very well this week. The problem is heat exhaustion. They say it's because I haven't been drinking enough water. I've been travelling 62 miles a day, which is my target. But yesterday, after 52 miles, I was feeling sick, and my head was aching, and I had to stop and rest.
1.52. Phone call 4.
I haven't had any music for the last 3 days because my iPod broke, so paddling has been getting more boring. To pass the time, I count or I name countries in my head, and sometimes I just look up at the sky. Sometimes the sky is pink with clouds that look like cotton, and other times it's dark like the smoke from a fire, and sometimes it's bright blue. The day that I reached the halfway point in my trip, the sky was bright blue. I'm superstitious, so I didn't celebrate. There's still a very long way to go.
Phone call 5.
This week, the mosquitoes have been driving me crazy. They obviously think I'm easy food. They especially like my feet. I wake up in the night when they bite me, and I can't stop scratching my feet. But I'm feeling happier now than I've been feeling for weeks. I've seen a lot of amazing wildlife this week. One day, I found myself in the middle of a group of dolphins. There were about 6 pairs jumping out of the water. I've also seen enormous butterflies, iguanas, and vultures that fly above me in big groups. Yesterday, a fish jumped into my kayak. Maybe it means I'm going to be lucky. I'm starting to feel a little sad that this adventure is coming to an end.
And finally in the news, TV host Helen Skelton has successfully completed her 1,998-mile trip down the Amazon River in a kayak. She left from Nauta in Peru 6 weeks ago on a trip that many people said would be impossible. But yesterday, she crossed the finish line at Almarin in Brazil to become the first woman to paddle down the Amazon. Here's Helen.
It's been hard, but I've had an amazing time. The only thing I've really missed is my dog Barney. So, the first thing I'm going to do will be to pick him up and take him for a nice long walk.
1.53 1.
Was Lisa's father angry about the car?
Yes, he was furious.
2.
Is Oliver's apartment small?
Yes, it's really tiny. Just a bedroom and a living room.
3.
Are you afraid of flying?
Yes, I'm terrified. I never fly anywhere.
4.
Was the food good?
Yes, it was delicious.
5.
Are you very hungry?
I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day.
6.
Is your parents' house big?
It's enormous. It has 7 bedrooms.
7.
Was it cold in Moscow?
It was freezing, -20 degrees.
8.
Was Jack's kitchen dirty?
It was filthy. It took us 3 hours to clean it.
9.
Are your parents happy about the wedding?
They're excited. In fact, they want to pay for everything.
10.
Was the movie funny?
It was hilarious. We laughed all the way through.
11.
Are you sure you locked the door?
I'm positive. I remember turning the key.
12.
Were you surprised to hear that Ted is getting married?
I was absolutely amazed. I never thought it would happen.
1.54 Max.
What do you like eating when you're feeling a little down?
Brownies. I love brownies. Chocolate brownies. My sister would always make these brownies, and she would let me eat them, and they sent some to me a little while ago, and they were just fantastic.
Does it make you feel better?
Oh, absolutely. They're great. Sometimes I give them to other people who aren't feeling so good, and they feel better too.
Andrew.
How often do you eat out?
Lately, I've been eating out a lot, but I try not to eat out to save money.
What kind of places do you go to?
I like any kind of Asian food, and steak is good, but it's kind of expensive.
Why do you like these kinds of restaurants?
I like them because they're different. I like to cook, and the food is different from the things that I know how to make.
Samantha.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have one younger brother, and he's 16 years old.
How well do you get along with him?
Ooh, sometimes I get along better with him, depending on how much time we spend together.
Zenobia.
Are you a spender or a saver?
I'm a very big spender.
Can you give examples?
Bags. I have a weakness for bags. I love designer bags, and when I see something in the shop which is on sale and it's half price and reduced, all my savings for the last 3 months would go on that item. So bags is a weakness. Bags, bags, bags.
Skylar.
Have you ever taken part in a charity event?
I have been a captain at the Relay for Life event in my home state in Kentucky, in America, and we raise money for cancer patients.
How much money did you raise?
I have raised $15,000 in total.
American English File, 2nd edition, Student Book 3, by Christina Latham Koenig and Clive Oxenden, published in copyright Oxford University Press, 2014. CD 2. 2.2. Transportation, public transportation and vehicles. 2.
Bus.
3.
Freeway.
9.
Light rail.
1.
Platform.
8.
Scooter.
4.
Subway.
6.
Train.
7.
Truck.
5.
Van.
2.3. On the road. 1.
Bicycle lane.
2.
Car crash.
3.
Crosswalk.
4.
Gas station.
5.
Parking ticket.
6.
Pedestrian zone.
7.
Road work.
8.
Rush hour.
9.
Seat belt.
10.
Speed camera.
11.
Speed limit.
12.
Taxi stand.
13.
Traffic light.
14.
Traffic jam.
2.4.
Shower.
Jazz. J.
Chess.
2.5.
Shower. Sh. Crash. Rush. Station.
Jazz. J. Bridge. Dangerous. Traffic jam.
Chess. Ch. Adventure. Catch. Each.
2.6. 1. A.
Cheap.
B.
Jeep.
2. A.
Chain.
B.
Jane.
3. A.
Choke.
B.
Joke.
4. A.
Ship.
B.
Chip.
5. A.
Shoes.
B.
Choose.
6. A.
Wash.
B.
Watch.
2.7. 1.
Jeep.
2.
Chain.
3.
Joke.
4,
Chip.
5,
Shoes.
6,
Watch.
2.8. 1,
Do you like potato chips?
2,
I'm going to wash it.
3,
You choose.
4,
Don't joke about it.
5,
Is it cheap?
2.9.
Tanner took a taxi from the boatyard to the airport where the seaplane was leaving from. It took 45 minutes to get from the boatyard to the airport. Once he got on the seaplane, Tanner quickly made up the time he spent riding in the taxi. With the plane flying close to 100 miles an hour, Tanner caught up to Rutledge and Adam near 7 Mile Bridge. After landing at the airport in Key West, Tanner rented a scooter for the last 3 miles of the race. Just a few more minutes until he arrived at the southernmost point of the U.S.
$2.10.
Rutledge Wood, who had traveled in the boat, ran from the Key West boatyard to the streets of Key West. After running for a few minutes in the heat, he hailed a taxi, which brought him to the southernmost marker in Key West and the U.S. Unfortunately, Adam and Tanner were already standing next to the marker. Rutledge couldn't believe it. He looked at the other men who were standing nearby, laughing. It turns out that Adam, traveling in the Lotus Evora, had reached the Key West marker just seconds before Tanner arrived on his rented scooter. Adam's car had won, which is a good thing because Top Gear is, after all, a program about cars. Tanner's combination of taxi, seaplane, and scooter arrived second, several minutes before Rutledge, who ended his boat trip with a ride in a taxi.
2.11. 1,
My sister is a little taller than me.
San Francisco is more expensive than Chicago.
This test is less difficult than the last one.
Olive oil is better for you than butter.
2,
The new sofa isn't as comfortable as the old one.
I don't have as many books as I used to.
2.12. 1,
My father drives faster than me.
You walk more quickly than I do.
Atlanta played worse today than last week.
2,
Max doesn't speak English as well as his wife does.
I don't earn as much as my boss.
2.13.
Kevin is the tallest player on the team.
Tokyo is the most expensive city in the world.
The small bag is the least expensive.
Lucy is the best student in the class.
Who dresses the most stylishly in your family?
That's the worst we've ever played.
2.14. 1,
Riding a motorcycle is more exciting than driving.
2,
The fastest train only takes an hour and a half.
3,
It's more difficult to drive at night than during the day.
4,
My father's worse at driving than my mother.
5,
The most dangerous road in my town is the freeway.
2.15.
And on tonight's program, we talked to Tom Dixon, who is an expert on road safety. Tom, new technology like GPS devices has meant new distractions for drivers, hasn't it?
That's right, Nikki. But it isn't just technology that's the problem. Car drivers do a lot of other things while they're driving that are dangerous and that can cause accidents. Remember, driver distraction is the #1 cause of road accidents.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot of tests with simulators. According to your tests, what's the most dangerous thing to do when you're driving?
The tests we did in a simulator showed that the most dangerous thing to do while you're driving is to send or receive a text message. This is incredibly dangerous, and it is, of course, illegal. In fact, research done by the police shows that this is more dangerous than drinking and driving.
Why is that?
Well, the reason is obvious. Many people use 2 hands to text, one to hold the phone and the other to type, which means that they don't have their hands on the wheel, and they're looking at the phone, not at the road. Even for people who can text with one hand, it's still extremely dangerous. In the tests we did in the simulator, 2 of the drivers crashed while texting.
And which is the next most dangerous?
The next most dangerous thing is to set or adjust your GPS. This is extremely hazardous too, because although you can do it with one hand, you still have to take your eyes off the road for a few seconds.
And number 3?
Number 3 was putting on makeup or doing your hair. In fact, this is something that people often do, especially women, of course, when they stop at traffic lights. But if they haven't finished when the lights change, they often continue when they start driving again. It's that fatal combination of just having one hand on the steering wheel and looking in the mirror, not at the road.
And number 4?
In 4th place, there are 2 activities that are equally dangerous. One of them is making a phone call on a cell phone. Our research showed that when people talk on the phone, they drive more slowly, which can be just as dangerous as driving fast. But their control of the car gets worse because they're concentrating on the phone call and not on what's happening on the road. But the other thing, which is just as dangerous as talking on your cell phone, is eating and drinking. In fact, if you do this, you double your chance of having an accident because eating and drinking always involves taking at least one hand off the steering wheel. And the thing that's most worrying here is that people don't think of this as a dangerous activity at all, and it isn't even illegal.
And in 5th, well, actually 6th place, it must be listening to music, but what kind?
Well, it's listening to music you know.
Oh, that's interesting.
We found in our tests that when drivers were listening to music they knew and liked, they drove either faster or slower, depending on whether the music was fast or slow.
So fast music made drivers drive faster.
Exactly. And a study in Canada also found that if the music was very loud, then drivers' reaction time was 20% slower. If you are listening to very loud music, you're twice as likely to go through a red light.
So the safest of all the things on the list is to listen to music we don't know.
Exactly. If we don't know the music, then it doesn't distract us. In this part of the tests, all drivers drove safely.